I could never plan my savings. People end up saying that, okay, job cannot let you achieve your goals. People who we actually see all around who are generally very dissatisfied with their work, dissatisfied with their salaries. At least I am someone, I get motivated by driving a great car. I get motivated by wearing a nice watch.
Have you seen any kind of similarities between managing business finances and managing your personal finances? Or, the learnings that you mentioned from your managing your business finance or making mistakes, have you applied that to your personal finances?
Okay, I think that experience also has been, I think, specifically in two parts. One during my entrepreneurial journey and how it changed when I got into corporate job. So during my entrepreneurial experience, I think again, adding to your last question, I think I did make a few more mistakes. I never used to draw any salary, and somehow I was working more like a solo founder, and I used to assume whatever is the business money is my money, and I used to take out a lot of money out from my business books and just used to mark them as personal expenses. But what that led into is one, I could never plan my savings.
Right.
Then I could never plan any future investments, or let's say even planning to buy a car was always like a thing that, okay, with current finances I might not be able to ever buy a new car. So I did messed up there while managing those personal expenses out of business books. I ideally should have taken out a salary and practically take out all my personal expenses from that
From
one
the salary.
particular amount. So I did that one big mistake, and because of that, I think during those 7 to 8 years, even after doing a lot of great growth numbers, I never really saw myself growing in let's say in terms of savings, in terms of my all over worth. I did see that, okay, there is some money which is there with me. There is some money which is there with my business books in my current account. But does Nippon have enough worth? That is one part I could never figure out. So that was one thing that has really changed a lot, I think, after I've got into job. So again, I feel that people end up saying that, okay, job के साथ ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता, and job के साथ आप save नहीं कर सकते हो, and job cannot let you achieve your goals. I don't know why they say that and what is the perception which is majorly wrong with today's generation. But I have seen that, okay, it is rather a much well managed way of managing your finance. You know, an X amount which will get credited to your account every month. You know, a Y amount of expenses for every month, and a Z amount which you can save every month.
Right.
So that personal expense management has rather improved for me when I have got into corporate world. And people who say that, okay, you cannot save enough while you are working, I don't know where they are falling short. Because if you really want to feel that you don't earn enough because you spend a lot more than what you were spending previously, is not a way to complain about your current salary.
Right.
So if you just have got into that trap where you have more than 2 lakh rupees EMI, so let's say if you want to buy a 3 crore rupees house and you want to have a 2 lakh rupees EMI, and you have a 3 lakh rupees salary, and now you start crying, I am not able to save enough because I have a 2 lakh rupees EMI.
Yeah, you kind of went beyond your means.
You
so
are
that's like,
paying 2 lakh rupees as an investment. That is your saving. How can you not count EMI as a part of your saving? So I think that is where a lot of people mess around their personal savings during this corporate, how it can be managed during corporate job. But I feel if you manage it right, I think you can easily manage your savings when you are in job. And business, I just recommended you. I would highly recommend anyone, regardless of the stage of the journey, you take out a personal salary and do your personal expenses out of
exactly.
it.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they focus so much on the business
Right.
and the business finances.
Right.
They kind of forget that they're a living, breathing human being
Yes,
that needs
yes,
money,
yes.
and everyone needs a salary. I mean, fine, take out minimal amount of salary, but you will need expenses. We also need to have the motivation to work towards your business, especially like funded startups. There is cash there for a lot of operations. There could be a minimal amount that you take out as founder salary and kind of plan your finances from there.
100%.
So that's definitely a very important point. I think if founders are watching our podcast, to remember that even as an entrepreneur you can do the salary thing for yourself. And
regardless of the amount you take out.
exactly.
But,
And
but start doing those things that you just take out a random amount out
Yeah.
of your books
That definitely
in an
doesn't work.
emergency, and then later you have completely made a mess out of your business
Exactly.
books.
I think salary does provide a certain amount of discipline,
Yes,
and you're right. Actually, if you manage your salary well, there's so many people who have built wealth, and in fact, a lot of them have come on our podcast as guests as well. They have built wealth just by a normal corporate career, and they have grown in their career. Of course, there's a lot of investment you need to do. One is in yourself, so that you grow your income as well.
Right.
So that surplus also keeps growing, and a lot of investment you need to do in terms in with your money. So another pitfalls that that I usually come across especially amongst youngsters is as their income grows, their expenses also grow
Right.
at the same amount. So essentially, their savings are not growing over time.
Right.
So that is a big mistake. And as a salaried individual, if you continue to upgrade your life in the same proportion as your salary grows, you are right, you will not be able to make money, and you will not be able to get rich. So any piece of advice for people who follow that lifestyle, and how you would actually do it differently?
See, I might have a little mixed view on this. I am someone who believes in fulfilling desires, dreams, and building a checklist of things I want in my life.
Yeah.
So I am not someone who will just chase savings. But parallelly, it doesn't also mean that I don't save. So probably if I have fixed expenses of, let's say, 30%, so at least I bucket it like that okay, 30% or 40% are my fixed expenses which are unavoidable.
Yeah.
Considering me being the only income source for my family. And then I have a special bucket with about 15 to 20% allocation which I keep for my wishes and desires. And then let's say the rest 40-50% is what I end up saving. I think issues can happen if your bucket list or desire list percentage is as good as 50%. That may be the first call out where
Yeah.
people can go wrong. Second, you start probably acquiring stuff at the wrong age, probably when you don't even need things. So let's say if you want to just think that okay, can I buy a house at the age of 23, and then you start feeling a lot more pressurized because you have to actually take out a 1 lakh rupees EMI out of your 1.25 lakh rupees salary.
Yeah.
So even that is something I'll never recommend anyone.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to save like this is not the way. Just let's keep that percentage very clear. What is an amount you would want to use in savings / investments / paying any EMI which is contributing to any investment.
Correct.
Of course, I will not count car EMI as an
Or
investment.
iPhone EMI.
Or iPhone EMI. I would put in that 20% bucket.
That's expenses. Yeah.
That's an expense which might be luxurious expenses,
Yeah,
aspirational
luxury.
expenses.
Aspirational.
Because they are also important. I feel if you're really working hard for 9 hours a day,
Yeah.
at least I am someone, I get motivated by driving a great car. I
Yeah.
get motivated by wearing a nice watch, carrying a good bag. But again, as we just discussed, it has to be a part of that salary,
of
not the majority part
Yeah.
of that salary. So that would be my only recommendation, that plan this entire mix really well.
Yeah.
Chase dreams as per your current growth and trajectories. If you will start chasing things which are beyond your current capacity, you will never feel good enough.
Exactly.
And you will always feel you are not doing good
Plus,
enough.
you'll always be broke as well.
So I think those are the people who we actually see all around, who are generally very dissatisfied with their work, dissatisfied with their salaries. They generally compare themselves with people who are doing a little better.
Right.
Without realizing that, okay, in India, even 1 lakh rupees salary is a great salary to have.
Right.
You can fulfill any possible wish with a 1 lakh rupees plus salary in India. You also know, I'm sure there are so many numbers around that we are possibly with a 1 lakh rupees plus wo jo ek number wala salary, we are amongst like the top 1% possibly people in the country.
Yeah.
So even if you still don't feel privileged, if you still feel not good enough after being in 1% of the country,
You're doing
for a
something
country
wrong.
which is as good as 140 crore people,
Yeah.
then there is a problem on your side and you
Yeah.
are chasing a wrong trajectory. So that is my all over like a comprehensive advice. What
I
I
think
would
the
want to
buckets
do.
part you mentioned is very important. We
Right.
always go with the 50-30-20 rule kind of thing,
Okay,
where we
okay.
advise people to at least save and invest 20% of their salary.
Right.
So sure, by all means, 50% could be with all your needs, and nowadays rental in big cities is big. But you can also include your EMIs if you have other expenses. 30% could be, you're right, you need to have aspirations, you need to fulfill your desires, because if you're working so hard for a career, you need to reap the benefits, some along the way and some you should keep for future goals, right? So I mean, it's kind of impractical to assume that you'll save all the money. So that also is a goal that is a little unattainable, and you kind of fail at it, and then you feel even worse. So rather, you would just take that into account and put some 30% of your salary or whatever percentage that suits you and allows you for enough surplus or savings that you know that you will splurge. You know that you'll go out to eat or whatever you are interested in. Have that latte if you want, or avocado toast, whatever floats your boat, and go for those holidays. But then again, it's very important that you're not getting into debt or credit overdraft for these things, or this EMIs for luxurious goods that you probably should delay a little further, right? And that constant surplus that you have, the percentage that you've decided, 20% that you want to save and invest, as your income grows, that percent should at least remain the same or slightly grow. That should not start to reduce. It shouldn't be that you're saving 1,000 rupees even in a 1 lakh salary, or even in 2 lakh salary is the same 1,000 rupees.
I know. Right? That's a trap where a lot of people gets into. With their increased salary, they're not able to increase a incremental amount in their savings.
So that percentage needs to be justifiable, that you're getting 1 lakh or 2 lakh, right? Like 20% of that needs to go into future savings. So for yourself, do you do any regular investments, or you just like put aside money for?
No, I think I'm not a very aggressive investor, I would say, in a way that I'm not very experimental. So I think the most safe thing I end up doing is putting some money in mutual funds on monthly basis, where I've set a specific amount which automatically gets auto debited on day one, so that I don't have that amount in my account. I put some amount as a part of FD, which cause I really feel that you should always have some liquid money which you can just immediately click on a bank app that okay, you need that money immediately in your account. And then of course PPFs and other things are by default investments which are anyways required. And I think a very small part of it I think goes into share market, which again I would not call out that I am someone very good and very passive, or I would say rather I'm passive, I'm not active in that share market. So these are 3 to 4 buckets what I am investing in today.